this is the message in my book, which is that if you chase salary to the exclusion of experience, you're walking yourself into a dead end, right? But if you do what I did as a young lawyer, which I consistently chose lower salary to get more experience throughout my early career. And that's my recommendation to lawyers today, because the one thing AI isn't going to replace are trial lawyers. So if you, and I literally tell people every day, like, I know you think being a local DA or a local public defender, or even working for your local insurance defense firm and getting into court is like beneath you, and quote unquote sophisticated lawyers from elite law schools shouldn't do that. I'm telling you, for all the right reasons, that's precisely what you should do. And going to big law because you think it's enhancing your resume, or, doing whatever you think will make you look good in the future at the expense of experience is a huge mistake. And the problem is that law professors, again, all my book, all part of my speech, have on average 3.7 years of private practice experience at the tenured faculty at the top 26 law schools. That's a stat that I have in my book. And so when you start thinking about, well, law professors are the people that are interacting with our young students and advising them, and then don't even get me started on career development people, because they're even less qualified. But I mean, like, think about it. They're just failed lawyers. Like, nobody goes to law school to be a career development officer. So these are the people advising young law students, particularly people like me. And I don't know about you, but like, I didn't have lawyers in my family. Like, I was the first lawyer in my family. So it's not like I could go to my uncle or my dad and say, hey, man, how do I think about this stuff? I had to figure it out for myself. And so I think the answer to your question is I would go to law school today. I know I was in a jury trial in South Carolina 2 weeks ago, and before the trial started, I'm like, I'm 58. I'm like, I'm too goddamn old for this shit. What the fuck am I doing this for? And then I get into court and I start examining the witness. I'm like, all right, I remember, this is fucking awesome. I love it. And I made my closing argument, and it was like I still get fired up doing it. So I know this was what I was meant to do. But experience has got to be the key.
I definitely didn't have any lawyers in my family. My parents didn't even graduate from high school. My dad went back and got his GED when he was like in his 30s. So yeah, not even close. But I do think there's a future for lawyers. I think that the firms that win, they're the ones that they focus heavily on AI, and instead of replacing you're talking about the big law firms that they'll go and axe the 8 associates once they've streamlined everything with AI. I think that that's a losing model. I think that you push your resources. So you use the AI to make things more efficient, but then you push those people into more customer service related roles where they're there to take care of the client, and it's the more the human interaction. So you increase the human interaction part of it, and I think those are the firms that are going to win. Now, I also do think that there's going to be a pretty big reduction in the overall workforce. So I don't think that I'm not naive to think that it's not going to happen. I do think in the next 5 to 10 years it's definitely going to happen. But I think that the ones that win are going to be the ones that capitalize on AI, and then the human element of things, focusing more on the human element, only the things that humans can do. I think that that's going to be really important, which leads me to the next thing I want to ask you about, because you're really wanting to take that next leap and fully integrate AI. So I wonder where you're seeing the most return on investment with AI right now.
Well, I actually used AI to help me write my book, and nothing in my book is like what I would consider to be like final output from AI. But the iterative process of taking, like, even in my jury trial that I had 2 weeks ago, I took my closing argument, I kind of read the outline of it into my AI machine, and got feedback from it. And I got some really good snippets out of it that I ended up using, but it's really just a very helpful, I think, time saving device that helps you refine whatever you do, whether it's writing or making an argument or even coming up with a theme for a lawsuit. So I think it's really helpful right now. The way I use it right now is to help me be more efficient and think better. But I don't know what it's going to be like in the future, but I know one thing it will never do is replace a trial lawyer. Like, no one's going to send a computer to court to talk to a jury, right? Like, I don't think that can happen. And if it does, I think we're all in trouble.